Following increased Russian naval activity in the Pacific, satellite intelligence and P-3C Orion reconnaissance confirm that a Soviet amphibious task force is advancing south through the Bering Strait. The formation is escorted by heavy surface combatants and at least 2 submarines. Their goal seems to be to break through into the Gulf of Alaska and establish a forward beachhead in the Aleutians. This marks the first full-scale Soviet invasion attempt on US soil. Task Force 96.3 is deployed to intercept the enemy near the strait. Submarines USS Los Angeles and USS Bremerton are already in position for an ambush. USS Carl Vinson was able to provide several aircraft for the operation, but is not actively taking part in this mission. The objective for this mission is to cripple the Soviet escort group and neutralize the Soviet submarines, preventing their escort of the landing ships. The mission will be considered a failure if more than 60% of US vessels are lost or if the Soviets escape into the Bering Sea. This is 89 Red Horizon Mission 3, Frozen Gate. Welcome to the cold waters of the Bering Sea. We are here to stop the Russians. The Russians are advancing with an amphibious task force. Of course, we can't have that. So, to that end, we have been issued with Task Force 96.3, Bunker Hill, Leahy, Ingram, Oldendorf, and Fife. These 5 ships are unfortunately not directly backed up by an aircraft carrier, but indirectly. We're looking at some aircraft which are coming off of the Carl Vinson. So we do have some birds. The problem is I can only use them once. I cannot rearm them, there is no carrier. We do, however, have access to the Los Angeles and Bremerton. So between those two, I should have some additional capabilities that the Soviets might not be aware of. This, however, swings both ways, because the enemy also has some submarines. So we need to be aware about that. Now, we are looking at a couple of large to very large contacts, and a whole slew of mediums, escorted by potentially a semi-large. We have our work cut out for us. The enemy already has a Tu-95 recon up, and this thing, of course, needs to get shot down promptly. I have VF-11 Red Rippers, and I'm going to try and get an AIM-54 on that target as quickly as possible to neutralize their early air detection capabilities. As for the other aircraft, I'm going to keep those behind. I don't want to push those in just yet. We might come under air attack. Also present in the area is a couple of I always forget the name. The S3, the Vikings, and with those I can very quickly hunt down submarines. That is, I can hunt down submarines with a helicopter just fine. It's just so that these things are a little bit more capable of getting to a location faster. We have one E2C provided by the Vinson up, which is already gathering information for us. And we have a couple of aircraft to the right. The Night Riders coming in with a couple of harpoons. These are the AGM-84 Delta, giving me a 120-mile range. And we have a P-3C for escort, which is again armed with torpedoes. So we have quite a few assets, and with those I intend to do grave harm upon the Soviets. As long as these guys are not directly causing air issues, I'm going to push the Griffins here and start finding submarines, or at least start looking for them. I'm going to assume that we have about a 20-mile no submarine zone. So I want to keep submarines at least outside of that area. If they fire a carrier killer, I should be able to get those quickly. Now, when it comes to MCON, this is a challenge. I'm currently sailing under MCON, which means I am more difficult to detect. However, I am also not capable of detecting aircraft coming in unless the E2C picks it up, which I think is fully likely up for now. So that shouldn't be too much of a problem. Regarding the submarines, I am expecting these things to continue on their course at about 13.6 knots. I'm also expecting to maintain radar lock on them. So if they're doing 13 knots, that means they're doing 39 knots or 39 miles in an hour, or sorry, in 3 hours. That is the course of 141, So this is going to take them 3 hours. This is going to take them 4 hours. This is going to take them 5 hours. I think this is going to be a long mission. Course 141, 65 miles. If I want to get my Los Angeles into range, it's a very shallow area here, by the way, I need to get over here. So that's going to take 72 miles. I need to do that in about 5 hours, so I need to be transiting at 12 miles an hour, aka 12 knots. Bremerton's going to push in from the other side, and I'm going to try and find the enemy submarines early using the Griffins, so that the submarines that I have, Bremerton and Los Angeles, can speed up. And with that capability locked down, I can probably get the enemy submarines knocked out, raise the submarines over into positions where they can hunt and kill the enemy task force. Yes, I have a variety of missiles aboard my ships here, some of which are land attacks, some of which are anti-ship, and some of which are the pretty decent RGM-84 Delta Harpoon at 80 miles. But the Soviets will throw out missiles and most likely will cause all sorts of issues for me. There we go. That's going to be the kill on the Tu-95. These guys are going to be guiding in their missile. I want you to turn your air search on. Do we already have them on radar? Oh, we got them on radar from absolutely everybody. ESM is getting picked up by everybody. We have the Rippers with their search radars. So this thing has nowhere to go. There is a little Soviet escape zone. If they get there, it's mission failure. So we're going to make sure they don't do that. As I have submarines over here, I'm going to say the submarines have about, I'd say a 15 to let's be a little conservative, 17 mile range at which they are pretty much guaranteed to find a submarine themselves. If they're not doing 20 knots, that is. So I'm going to say I don't need to be searching inside those bubbles. And that frees up these Griffins to go hunt, let's say, between the two subs. Now, let's get those AIM-54s on target, knock out the Tu-95, and potentially prevent, at least hopefully prevent, the onslaught that the Soviets can wreak upon me using those long-range missiles that they carry. Coming down on top of the target, 28 miles out. 20 miles out. 13. Affirmative. 8 miles. Jeez, how many missiles did you send? 3? Okay. Anybody see a Tu-95 over here? Because I don't. There it is. Yeah, that's cute. Multiple air. Helicopters. Okay. Boom, boom, boom. That's one dead Tu-95. Well done. Alright, now the next order of business is to shoot down the enemy helicopters. This is their next best air asset and their next best air detection, so of course they have got to go. This thing, however, is flying at 199 feet, which means that I might not be able to engage it from this altitude. I want you to climb to 37 and see if we can throw an AIM-54 at that helicopter. Just one would be enough. So naturally they all fire one. It's a bit aggressive. Yeah, we've got another helo there. Ka-27PL. Do we know what this is? The Kalinin. Well, well, well. Ain't you a big girl? This is a Kirov. A very sizable Kirov at that. This is the Kirov, the Kalinin 1989 refit, which means you get some more advanced weaponry. She gets a no-fly zone of 83 miles, which means I'm going to keep my aircraft very, very far away from that thing, and I'm already getting closer to their range. She also has access to some shorter surface-to-air missiles, which in a pinch can be used surface-surface. She has the P-700 at 335 miles. If I get detected, I can be sure that they will fire these granites at me. What else? RBUs. They got the 9M311K, also known as the Cortic. It's a short-range anti-air missile. And we have the CADS N1, which is another 2.2 missile. Actually, I think it's a gun system. It's a 2.2 mile range. Not that likely to cause me that many issues. More helos. I'm going to start splitting off one of these birds because I don't want all of them to keep firing their missiles at various different helicopters, as I might still need to do some defense against other air contacts. Oh, there's another one. I am fully expecting another backfire raid, and I want to be ready. I want to have some aircraft ready to deal with that. So these two, the Red Rippers, I'm going to keep their AIM-54 standing by. And I got this guy, which is just out of AIM-54s, kind of in reserve, as we're going to be popping as many helicopters as possible. Now, the Kalinin is escorting some stuff. Most likely, these are some of the landing ships that they want to get deployed. And over here, what sort of a mission are we getting? It could be a Rogov, could be a Krivac. That's probably an escort as well. Krivac is an anti-submarine warship. Rogov is a landing ship. At any rate, the Kalinin has to die before we're going to be able to get any kind of weapon away against these ships here. Ah, that's a Rapucha, that's another Rapucha. So these are landing ships. Alright. AIM-54 is going in. I want to pop all these helicopters if I can. There's a few more of those around. I'm getting awful close here, gentlemen. The problem is we need to guide those missiles in. I'm kind of scared about Kalinin and her capabilities, especially as she has her radar active. She's pretty damn capable. Pretty damn capable of shooting me down. She probably knows where I'm at. And I really don't want to lose a couple of F-14s if I don't have to. Now you can see that all of these things are already using their radars. Oh, another. Bloody hell. Just start popping all these helicopters because it'll also make life safer for all of my submarines. I think this guy is about to get very, very, very toasted. What? You ran out of fuel? Really? That's not what I was hoping for. Because I don't think you shot down an AIM-54. I would have been notified about that. Bloody hell. Come on. We are still linked to one of those F-14s. Anybody see a helicopter? There it is. And another. Jeez, the whole formation launched every single helo that they have. Which is good. Because it does mean that I have a better opportunity to engage all of them. And start shooting down as many of them as possible. Look at that. We still need to take down 7 more helos. We'll be busy for a while. What the hell? Okay. No, I'm going to start popping helicopters off screen because this is just the same thing all over again. Kind of as expected, we have an air contact coming in from the far northwest. This thing is still very far out, and I am going to start vectoring some of my AIM-54 capable F-14s over, as well as the other ones, which are unfortunately out of Venuses, but they still got the Sparrows. One F-14 died, pursuing all of those helicopters, and I did trim quite a few of those rotor wing aircraft, but of course this, arguably, is a greater priority. We're seeing an ESM detection by VAW112, which is the Golden Hawks E2C. So we're picking up their emissions, but we can't see them yet. They are still climbing, so it's possible they're taking off about 10,000 feet right now. Most likely Tu-22M2. If they are able to bring those long-range missiles to bear, well, we'll have a bit of a challenge, because that's 296 miles. If they got the better missile, it's going to be, what, 500 something? 580 miles. So, given my current position with my warships, that puts me in range. Yeah, that puts me in range. That's not fun, but that's the situation we find ourselves in. I have already started laying sonobuoys here. I have to be careful about that Kalinin, though. The good news is, at the moment, Actually, I'm going to delete all of these planned sonobuoys. At the moment, I think the Kalinin is unable to acquire this Viking. Because the Kalinin has the horizon sort of against her. I'm flying below her radar horizon. So I don't think that she can find me. But that's a pretty dangerous assumption to make. I'm going to start pushing my E2C back a little bit. If I want to be shooting back at the Kalinin, I have access to 5, yes, a mere 5 Tomahawk anti-ship missiles. The Leahy has none. The Ingram has none. Oldendorf does have a whole bunch. She carries 21 of these Tomahawks. And then we have the 5, which also carries a bunch. So what I'm going to do is punch a very big hole in the Kalinin. Oh, great. It's a Sovremeni and an Udaloy. It's an Udaloy 1989, so it's potentially a refit version, which will make this even more difficult to kill. Hold on. The Udaloy doesn't carry anti-air? Typically, Udaloys are extremely difficult to get rid of because they have such exceptional anti-air. This one does not. The Sovremeni has that single launcher. And then we got the Krivak. Krivak's okay, but I think the Kalinin herself is going to be the real challenge. Does she come with offensive ECM? No, she does not. No. Okay, we're just going to burst this whole formation down. So, I'm going to start sending lots and lots and lots of missiles in that general direction. And have them have a good time with it. What I'm going to do is go single shot on the land attackers first. And that should give the Soviets something to worry about. You are engaging, yes? Ah. Yes. You're engaging. You can see all the VLS preparing. Now, land attackers typically don't hit a warship, but they can. It is possible that they do. So I'm going to be using these things to kind of distract the capabilities that those Soviet ships have. While they're not paying attention, they're going to get hit, ideally, by a couple of Tomahawk anti-ship missiles. I'm going to be sending a big salvo. And I'm going to also use... pause the Oldendorf for that. Hold. I want you to start shooting a salvo of 8 against Kalinin. And we're going to start sending a couple more Tomahawk land attackers this way as well. There. These ships, lower priority. It's a Rogov to the Puchas. Potentially some, I'd say, lower threat stuff. But I might as well send some Tomahawks after them, because they're going to have to die anyway. And while the Kalinin and her friends are busy dealing with my other missiles, I'm expecting these guys to have a better chance of going through. That's the plan anyway. If you thought we're done, I have some other news for you. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Missiles opening. Off you go. Now, the Soviets are going to be busy. Unfortunately, I cannot guide my missiles in using any kind of ECM. Yes, I have offensive ECM here, but it's never going to have the range. I can't even get halfway there. So that's not really going to be doing me any favors. Yeah, I'm going to start sending single shot against these other ships. I very much doubt that those Tomahawks are going to listen to what I want them to do. Because they typically just find the biggest rate of return. Which makes sense. It makes sense. It's just, if I'm able to get hits on these other warships, then yeah, by all means. Okay, so we're going to be burning through all our Tomahawk land attack missiles, or Tomahawk anti-ship missiles. I still got a lot of land attackers left. I don't really have a job for them, other than serving as a distraction. Now, how are you guys doing? We are 132 miles out. Unfortunately, you don't carry, but you do. I'm gonna burn my way through there. Go to 37. You guys as well, 37. You're already at 37. You need to get close, my friend. Afterburner. Over here we have laid a decent line of sonobuoys with an intermittent spread of about 5 miles, so that's good. That's going to keep Soviet submarines detected, if we find them. Over here we got the other one from the Griffins, which is also going to be deploying sonobuoys. And ideally with that we'll be able to find and eliminate submarines quickly. In the meanwhile, there are still some Ka-27s around. And I am tempted to do something about that, but I only have a couple of A6 intruders over here. Not a bad plane. The problem is... Sorry, is the A6 an intruder? I'm not even sure. I don't really have the range. But we can potentially get over here and start attacking these things in the sides, which will also make it a bit easier to engage them without wasting missiles on one single target. So we're going to send the strike package over there, which is going to take them 7 minutes to travel. Alright, oh, we got another bird. Okay, who has missiles? You got missiles. 97. We're going to shoot first and ask questions later. Goodbye, drop tanks. I highly doubt it's just 2 birds. I highly doubt that. It's most likely going to be a few more. And we got more missiles for you guys. Capabilities of the Tomcat are phenomenal. Those long-range missiles can really save your bacon in a pinch. We got with this bird standing by. I don't really have a job for them. Might use it as a sort of backstop later. Do we have the other guy in range as well? Little closer. 5 miles. And we get him. 4, 3, 2, 1. I'm not sure we can guide that well. Shoot. Yeah, I don't think we can guide that far away. Because we're illuminating this thing by radar, which is why the AIM-54 here is able to find it. So we're probably going to be engaging 7033 only when we get this first missile delivered. This guy is coming in at almost 1400 knots. That's Mach 2.5. And we are very quickly closing on 7033, which is coming at us, more or less, at 529 knots. So we'll be able to get our AIM-7s delivered pretty soon and start splashing a couple of additional Tu-22s. Sparrow at the ready. Range 31 miles. I'm really hoping to pick up those submarines soon. I want to know where they're at. Meanwhile, we've got our whole missile storm going out. How many missiles we got left? No Tomahawk ships. You got 4 left. Okay. Okay, you're in range. Let's go after them. Oh, wait. You're almost there. I'm going to cheat a little bit and just follow this missile in and see how many planes we're actually looking at. 1. 1? 1. Type? Is that a 24? That's a fighter. Oh. Okay. Interesting. That's a fighter. Then again, we're looking at medium targets. This is a semi-small. Okay. Oh, this M54 might be wasted. Split. If you didn't split these things, they will shoot both one M54, which is not what I want them to do. What you got there? That's a fighter. No, actually, that was an actual Tu-22. Interestingly, I'm not seeing any others. What is that? Possibly the launch point. Like their takeoff point. Okay, well done on that kill. Now we're going to wait for those missiles to arrive. As the Tomahawks are closing in, we're going to give the Soviets even more to worry about. Interestingly, they don't seem to have a whole lot of escorts for their landing ships, especially not when it comes to defending the northeastern approach. So what I'm going to do is pop the sternmost ships, the trailing landing ships. We're going to go a single shot, and we're going to start popping these things one by one. Single shot here, single shot there, single shot here, and keep in mind, single shot means all birds fire one missile. Just like that. And that means we now have shots out on all of these contacts. That should give the Soviets some... You have got to be kidding. Okay. Okay, that was not my best moment. I was hoping these things would go sea skimming. They did. Unfortunately, we were not above the sea. So I just wasted 16 harpoons. Isn't that lovely? No, it bloody isn't. What we have here is a mere 2 Tomahawks. Jeez. 2 Tomahawk and ship missiles. Yeah. I guess I can use these against these ships at this range because they don't have much else to do. But yeah, that was a that was a bad shot with the Night Riders here. My bad. I should have looked at where I was over land and figured out that those missiles are dumb as a bunch of rocks. And just go sea skimming even if they're over land, thus plowing themselves into the ground. I'm sure that if the Soviets would have seen that, they would have had a good laugh at that. As the Tomahawks close in, the Kalinin leaps into action. They're now able to find these missiles using their search radars. And now the tracking radars are also joining the fight. You can see that the radar fire director over there on the stern is apparently trying to light up the stuff, but the one on the front is most likely to have more success, as this one on the back is trying to do that right through the ship. This ship is popping lots of missiles, and with those VLS capabilities, you can see that they can pop these one after another. There's another one and another. I don't know if it's going to be enough. I wouldn't be surprised if it is, because these things are really capable. However, they're intercepting my land attackers. That's exactly what I wanted the Kalinin to do. Attack the land attack missiles, the ones that actually don't pose a threat, and which are easier to detect. These things fly around at 86 feet, and that provides them a little bit more visibility than these things, which are flying around at 22 feet. There you go, another missile got intercepted. So let the Kalinin do what it does best, intercept missiles. So long as they are not the missiles that you're looking for. How close are we? We're 14 miles out. There's the second ship going at it. This thing can keep this up for days. The ship has so many missiles aboard. I'm really surprised the Udaloy is kind of as harmless. There are different versions of the Udaloy. Typically, the Udaloy is more capable than this. Where's the Udaloy? That's a missile. It's not a frigate. It's a destroyer, I think. Udaloy. Huh? 1994 fictional. Oh, that's the one that gets all the Kinzhal missiles. The gauntlets. These things don't. Interesting. It's like they nerfed the base model. Then again, this whole campaign, this whole series, was designed with both the pack lethality mod and the new threat upgrade mod in mind. So I imagine the scenario creator knows exactly what he's doing. Yeah, we're starting to lose a couple of Tomahawk anti-ship missiles. Oh. You have ventured very far off course. Don't exactly know where you're going, but you're probably losing guidance at this point. This land attacker is getting very nicely close to the Kalinin. You can see her on the horizon there. And I wouldn't be surprised if they're also going to start popping these missiles soon. Which are not directly heading for the Kalinin, but which are posing a threat to their escorts. I don't exactly know why they're sailing in a formation like this. I would personally put a bit more of a ring around my escorts, around my protectees. So the formation that has been set up here doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. This is not how I would do it. There's another Tomahawk intercepted. Range, 10 miles? 6 miles. Another intercepted. We still got a bunch more inbound, but I wouldn't be surprised if we're not going to be able to get anything on target. Look at these things go. 6 miles out. It's just a complete no-fly zone around this ship. I love how these launchers retract and then come back up. And they got that on both sides. Whereas some ships only have one of these things or two of these things on the whole ship if they're lucky. For this ship, it's almost like a secondary armament. Range, 5 miles. 4.4, 4.1. Come on, just give me one hit on the Kalinin. 3.5. We have yet to encounter the Sea Whiz. Once that pops into gear, I think we'll lose this missile. 2.7. There's chaff. 2.4. There we go. Intercepted. Intercepted. We're also getting jammed. You can see that by the triangle. This thing has its own radar. And it's getting jammed by the Kalinin. And intercepted as well. The missiles over here... I'm not sure if they're paying them any attention. Maybe not yet. Right now, they only got land attacks to worry about. And a couple... Yeah, a couple of anti-ship missiles still coming in, but they're all getting jammed. Which means that they're instantly going to start gaining height. As they're apparently looking for something. But getting jammed. So they make themselves very easy to kill. That's very annoying. Yeah, I think I might need to rely upon the submarines to take these boys down. There we go. Look at that. We're just not getting anywhere. This land attacker is just a dumb missile. Which is just flying and getting intercepted. But hey, that's exactly what it's for. We got 2 more missiles going in. 6 miles out. We're probably going to start encountering their ECM right about now. Are they going to start intercepting these? Not yet. Not yet. Maybe we can strike at those landing ships. Get a couple kills there. We got 4 miles out from Kalinin. I'm not sure why we're not getting jammed anymore. Oh, doesn't matter. We're not going to be able to get there anyway. They've intercepted so many of our Tomahawks. Yeah, they just intercepted every single thing. That's really impressive. Really impressive. Alright, so that means we're going to send the Bremerton up. I'm also going to send the LA up, ahead standard. We just have to try and encounter these things and torpedo them. These Rogovs are not entirely without defense. They do have some capabilities to keep themselves safe in the form of the Osa, as well as the Strela. The question is, can you use those fast enough? Oh, we're going to bypass the Rogov, it seems. Yeah, we're going to bypass the Rogov. Hold. And we are going to go after the second target. Excellent. I didn't know their secret was that narrow. This one is getting after another target. This one's also going after another target. Oh, we're getting jammed again. Great. We have hit track 7002. That's one of the landing ships there. Which is probably going to get killed off. This guy is still going for target 7002. This one is unfortunately diving right into the water, and this one is going to do the same thing as they're all getting jammed. How rude. Tomahawks are expensive, I'll have you know, and I don't carry that many anyway. Look at the rate of fire on these things. They're attacking... Yeah. Well, we got one hit out of that whole salvo. We got one hit. Not great. Are we going to be able to get a hit on the trailing ship there? 7006? Yep, alligator's down. Oh, it's a warship. Go figure. Yep, that's a hit. That'll most likely be the end of that ship. Now, Kalinin, Sovremeni, Udaloy, and Krivak have wasted a bunch of missiles against my ships, or against my missiles. I don't think it's enough, though. I don't think it's enough. I think there might be still more out there. So engaging them again with missiles, likely not going to work. Yeah, I think they're trying to shoot down that last Tomahawk here. Which, I'm kind of impressed is making it all this way with all the firepower that these things are bringing to bear. Then again, what is that, a 57? Yeah, it's a 57. We're going to be attacking the ship that was already hurt. Unless this thing still changes its mind. I think it might not. Actually, no, it's going for 7005. That's good. That's good. Yep. Hit. Okay, so these two not likely to be going anywhere anytime soon. One has already been eliminated. And we still have the lead Rogov, which is perfectly fine. So that means we will have to deploy the submarines into combat. And those things are going to be doing that in the next episode. This is probably going to be a two-parter. As we get the submarines into position in part 2, we'll be able to start striking at these ships with their torpedoes. Hope you guys enjoyed this first part. If you want to see part 2 right away, you can. Just hit the join button and you can see part 2, which is already pre-uploaded from channel members. If you don't want to do that, fair enough. And you will be able to see this video soon enough on the channel. Thank you for watching. Hope you've enjoyed. I'll see you soon for part 2.